Welcome to Terrifying Tales, where we explore eerie stories. I'm your guide, sharing a chilling tale, a haunted apartment, a historical relic in a bustling city hosting unexplained, terrifying incidents. Get ready for a spine-tingling journey into the unknown. Welcome to the Terrifying Tales. Let the fear begin. Are you brave enough to live in a haunted apartment? Let's find out. Welcome, fear enthusiasts, to the story of a man who dared to dwell in the unknown. Our tale begins with a unique twist of fate. I am your narrator, an ordinary guy with an extraordinary tale to tell. My life was as normal as anyone's could be, until a sudden job relocation threw me into the whirlwind of an urban adventure. The city, with its towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, was a stark contrast to my quaint hometown. The promise of a new life, filled with excitement and challenges, was exhilarating. Little did I know that my quest for a fresh start would lead me to an ancient, forgotten apartment building, nestled in the city's most secluded corner. It stood there like a ghost from the past, its faded grandeur a silent testament to the countless stories it had witnessed over the centuries. The apartment was an architectural relic, its decrepit state a haunting reminder of its history. The rotting paint, the crumbling plaster, and the creaking floorboards all added to its eerie charm. But something about the place struck a chord. It was old, it was decrepit, but it was also a symbol of resilience, a testament to the passage of time. I, eager for a fresh start, decided to ignore the whispers of dread that the old building seemed to echo. I moved in, ready to embrace the city life, unaware of the chilling events that were about to unfold. In the beginning, everything seemed normal. The apartment was quiet, almost too quiet. The silence was occasionally broken by the distant hum of the city and the creaking of the old wooden structure. Yet, as the days passed, I began to notice strange occurrences that I initially dismissed as mere figments of my imagination. As the unsettling events unfolded, I found myself questioning my sanity. Was I truly living in a haunted apartment? Or was my mind playing tricks on me? My search for answers led to a chilling discovery that would forever change my perception of reality. Are you ready to delve into the supernatural and uncover the terrifying truth? Buckle up, dear viewers, as we venture into the unknown. The tale of the haunted apartment is about to begin. Ever imagined the spine-chilling thrill of residing in a cursed dwelling? Let me guide you through the horrors of such an existence. I'm a regular guy, just like you. My tale of terror unfolds when I found myself relocating to a decrepit ancient apartment hidden in the city's darkest corner. The building was a remnant of a bygone era, its rotten paint and decaying plaster exuding an air of dread and uncertainty. With each step, the ancient wooden floorboards groaned, resounding with the eerie tales of its past tenants. At first glance, everything appeared mundane. A deafening silence engulfed the place, broken occasionally by the phantom sounds of the city and the unsettling groans of the decaying structure. Then, the subtle brewing of terror began. An aged book, a relic left by the last tenant, slipped from the shelf unprovoked. I dismissed it as a trifle, chuckling nervously at the ghost stories recounted by my friends. Next, a frigid chill started to pervade my room, like spectral fingers reaching out from unseen crevices. A cold so intense it seeped into my marrow, unaffected by the warmth radiating from the old brick fireplace. I reassured myself, attributing it to a gust of wind or a forgotten open window. During the witching hour, when the city was in the arms of Morpheus, I began hearing spectral whispers. The soft murmurings just above the threshold of audibility seemed like clandestine dialogues conducted in hushed undertones. Blaming my overworked mind for these imagined sounds, I rationalized them as wind whistling through the weather-beaten windows, concocting an eerie symphony that my fatigued brain misinterpreted as whispers. Yet the macabre incidents did not wane. They grew in frequency and intensity, compelling me to question my grasp on reality. Was I truly dwelling in a bewitched apartment? Or was it my mind weaving an intricate web of illusions? One appalling day the whispers amplified to an intolerable volume, as if a vial was whispering grotesque secrets into my ear. The sudden chill didn't merely creep in, it invaded with a vengeance, freezing my breath and seizing my heart with terror. Objects flying off the shelves were no longer just books, cutlery, portraits. Even my treasured antique clock would crash to the ground, a hint of disturbance. I began doubting my mental state. Was I succumbing to madness, or was there a malignant force at play? These tormenting thoughts consumed me as I desperately sought rational explanations for the inexplicable happenings. Then, one ghastly night, an event occurred. An event of such abject horror that it altered my understanding of reality forever. I questioned my sanity until that horrifying night something occurred that irrevocably shattered my perception of the world. That fateful night I was awakened by an eerie chill. The cold seemed to seep into my very bones, worming its way through every fibre of my being, articulating an unsettling presence. I was ensnared in the grip of an odd sensation, a strange alien feeling that I was not alone. And this wasn't just a garden variety fear, it was an inexplicable dread that sent shivers down my spine. The air felt like a shroud of foreboding, heavy and stifling, burdened with an unspoken dread that whispered of danger, of an ominous unseen threat. It was as if the room was filled with an invisible, suffocating fog that permeated the room, settling over me like a weighted blanket of impending doom. There was a feeling of something lurking just out of sight, an intangible entity, stealthy and elusive, but terrifyingly real. It was as if a pair of invisible eyes were watching me from the shadows, as though I were a hapless quarry, cornered by a relentless, unseen predator. My eyes, instinctively responding to the palpable fear coursing through my veins, snapped open in a futile attempt to pierce the overwhelming darkness of the room. I squinted, battling the enveloping black void, my eyes straining to discern any discernible shapes or forms, and there it was, an ominous, shadowy spectre stationed at the foot of my bed. It stood there, a hazy, smoky silhouette, formless yet eerily tangible, a stark, dark blot against the inky black canvas that I had become. It was as if a piece of the night had detached itself and taken on a life of its own, a corporeal figment of the darkness that was both part of the room and separate from it. Suddenly the room filled with a sinister whispering, a spectral murmur that seemed to echo from the walls and rebound around the room like a haunting refrain. It was as if the room itself was speaking, the very walls whispering secrets in a language unknown to me. They filled the darkness, seeping into every corner of the room, the spectral murmur reverberating, resonating in my ears, a haunting symphony of dread. I strained to decipher the words, as if understanding could somehow lessen the terror that gripped me, but the whispers were elusive, like smoke slipping through my fingers, enigmatic and tantalizingly out of reach. Each time I felt I was to understanding, the echoes would twist and contort, slipping away and leaving me once more in the dark. A cold terror gripped me, seizing my heart in its icy claws and squeezing until hardly breathe. It was a fear that transcended the physical, a primal terror that defied logic and reason, a fear that held me immobile, paralyzed by its intensity. I was a prisoner in my own bed, shackled by an unseen force that held me captive in its relentless grasp. The room, once my sanctuary, had become my prison, a cell from which I could find no escape. The darkness was no longer a comfort, but a monstrous jailer that seemed to revel in my fear. And then, as abruptly as it had appeared, the figure dissolved into the darkness, evaporating like a nightmare upon waking. It was as if the spectre had been a figment of my imagination, a ghastly, smoke-like apparition born of the darkness and fueled by my own fear. But as the spectre retreated, left behind a chilling legacy, the whispering, the figure was gone, but the whispering, it never stopped. The haunting murmurs persisted, echoing in the room, a loop of spectral whispers that seemed to hang in the air. A chilling reminder of the terror that had visited me in the dead of the night. A constant, eerie soundtrack to a night of fear. The figure was gone, but the whispering, it never stopped. My nights were permeated by a chilling symphony of whispers. The noises would initially waft in like a soft, deceptive murmur, mimicking the playful sway of the wind through the skeletal branches outside my window. Yet I soon discovered the bone-chilling truth. It was not the wind. It was something far more hideous, lurking in the shadows. The sounds escalated into deafening screams, converging into an ominous choir that seemed to close in on me in my room. Restless nights turned into never-ending nightmares, the whispering voices encapsulating me in a shroud of dread and relentless terror. It felt like existing in an unending abyss of impending doom, where the darkness harboured grotesque monstrosities that threatened to shatter my sanity. My desperation to uncover the harsh truth behind these horrifying events was insatiable. I embarked on a quest to find answers, to liberate myself from this ceaseless torment. I resolved to plunge into the history of my cursed dwelling, to unearth the sinister secrets it concealed. As the days wore on, each step led me deeper into a maze of chilling tales from previous tormented souls that once inhabited this place. The accounts mirrored my experiences, reflecting the same spectral whispers and disconcerting presences. They too were prey to the apartment's sinister hauntings, just like I was. Tales of phantom objects shifting without reason, shadows that darted ominously across the room, and encounters with apparitions that sent an icy shiver down their spines emerged. I uncovered narratives of laughter reverberating through the stillness of the night, of ghostly footsteps stalking the corridors, of ethereal figures appearing and disappearing within the blink. The apartment, as it turned out, was a breeding ground for the supernatural. Despite the overwhelming number of spine-tingling accounts, I found no proof, no satisfactory answer that could soothe my escalating fears. It was an enigma, a spectral puzzle that stubbornly guarded its secrets. Fear and frustration constricted me, making me feel powerless and drained. Time seemed to blur, days blending into weeks, into hazy months, and still I was no closer to unmasking the truth. The symphony of whispers seemed to amplify, bearing down on my sanity. However, destiny finally unveiled a clue in a forsaken corner of the basement. Hidden beneath a pile of discarded relics, I discovered it, an ancient diary. Its leather-bound cover was scarred and worn, its pages yellowed with the passage of time. The entries, written in an archaic script, sent a surge of terrifying anticipation rippling through me. Every page was saturated with the haunting experiences of past tenants, their macabre encounters with the otherworldly beings that resided within the apartment. As I slowly turned the pages, a wave of impending doom washed over me. With every word, the horrifying reality of my situation became painfully clear. I was not alone. I was sharing my existence with beings from a realm far beyond our understanding. The diary was more than a mere chronicle. It was a testament to the apartment's haunted past. It held chilling tales that yearned to be narrated. Holding the diary in my trembling hands, I was on the verge of unveiling something that had been lurking in the shadows, eager to be discovered. I steeled myself to read, ready to face the horrifying truth lurking in the darkness. I realized then that it wasn't just me trying to uncover the sinister past. It was something that was desperate to be discovered. Clutching the ancient diary in my trembling hands, I opened it, revealing the faded ink of a story long forgotten. The diary was a chronicle of a tragic history, a tale of sorrow that echoed through the centuries. It belonged to a young woman who had once called this apartment her home. Her name was Isabella, a woman of extraordinary beauty and grace, who had been brutally wronged and met an untimely death in this very apartment. The diary entries narrated her tale of love, betrayal, and her tragic end. Her spirit, trapped within the confines of these walls, longed for justice, yearned for closure. Every creaking sound, every chilling whisper, and every spectral figure that appeared in the dead of the night was Isabella trying to communicate, seeking someone who would listen, someone who would help her. The realization hit me like a bolt of lightning. The apartment was not haunted by malevolent spirits, but by a restless soul in desperate need of peace. I found myself not just living in a haunted apartment, but sharing my home with a lost soul. The fear that had once consumed me was replaced with a profound understanding and a sense of purpose. I decided then and there I was going to help Isabella. I was going to help her find the peace she so desperately sought. I was going to help her story be heard, and so my nights were no longer filled with terror, but with a sense of purpose. The whispers in the dark were no longer threats, but pleas for help. The shadows that darted across the room were not figments of my imagination, but a reminder of my newfound responsibility. Isabella and I, we were in this together now. I, a living being, sharing my existence with a spirit from another realm. This was my life, my hauntingly beautiful reality, and strangely, I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for joining us on this terrifying yet enlightening journey. We've traversed the path of fear, uncertainty, and finally, understanding together. But the journey doesn't end here. We have countless more tales to tell, countless more mysteries to unravel. So, if you want to be a part of these chilling yet captivating adventures, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Each click, each subscription helps us bring you more of these hauntingly beautiful tales. If you've enjoyed this tale of the haunting revelation and the promise of peace, don't forget to hit that like button. Your support means the world to us. And finally, we want to hear from you. Share your thoughts on Isabella's tale. Have you ever experienced something similar? Do you have your own terrifying tales to tell? Let us know in the comments section below. Until next time, remember, fear is only a state of mind. Embrace the unknown, and you might just discover something extraordinary. Stay curious, stay brave, and as always, stay tuned.